Happy Revenge Week! It is Thursday night, October 16th, on the Pats Interference Podcast, member of the magnanimous, mindful, meticulous, merry, and magnetic CLNS Media Network. Vibes are high in Foxborough. I got back just about an hour ago from a locker room where I can tell you the guys are feeling themselves, which is typically associated with like high school jerk, but in a way that like they're winning, they believe in it, and they feel very confident naturally going down to Tennessee, where the Titans are a flaming dumpster fire. Just fired their head coach. You know all of this. The news, though, gets worse as we always intro here with some injury reports, and a little bit of nuggets, and we'll bring in our guest. Today is WEEI's Meghan and Ottolini. Here's the injury report for Tennessee, the one you really need to know. Calvin Ridley, one-time Patriots target, has not practiced in 2 days. He's got a hamstring injury, which if you are familiar with the Patriots, hamstring injuries, no good. A little fickle, those hamstrings. So the Titans are going to be down their most dangerous weapon while they have currently statistically the worst quarterback in the league. As for the Patriots, one of their ex-Titans, not Mike Vrabel, who's very ready for this game, Harold Landry has not practiced in 2 days. He was out today along with Charles Woods, who's like their third-string corner. But good news, Jalen Hawkins was upgraded to limited. Anthony Jennings was as well. Morgan Moses is limited. Oh, and Stefon Diggs with a chest injury that we've not really heard a lot about, but doesn't seem all that worrisome. That's what we've got on the injury front. So Patriots still stable. Titans are digging a hole further, even when they just have players who can't practice like they have the last couple of days, but we'll see. In the meantime, news on a personal front, because I scooped myself, I guess, Tuesday on Toucher and Hardy and hinted at this Monday. I will be taking time off soon because we are welcoming our first child. So I appreciate the messages that I've gotten here so far. This is not to draw further attention to that. It's just to say, hey, when we go dark for a week, probably next month, you will know why. Last thing before we bring in Meghan, subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, you get all of the goods there. And it's sometimes smaller snippets. Like we have a 4-minute drill coming up with Pop Douglas, who has, just for you at home, agreed to adjust his touchdown celebration if he scored Sunday in Tennessee. You will know it if you listen and follow for the rest of this episode, and he'll tell you exactly what that little move is. The other part that we learned about Pop Douglas is his Uber alias. And we probably spent a whole minute of a 4-minute drill on that. Anyway, you can watch just that clip. You can watch this whole show. You can watch every show that we do and all of the film breakdowns, but only if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's @_Andrew Callahan. And if you're an Apple person or a Spotify, savant, whatever, leave us a rating, leave us a review. It helps us grow and helps us bring on some very cool guests, including my pal, Meghan and Ottolini of WEEI and BST Fridays. What's up, pal?
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Do you have any good, either personal or professional revenge stories?
Oh, man, I was not prepared for this.
Well, let me buy you some time because, hold on, I wrote about this today. Mike Vrabel said yesterday to all of our faces, no, I didn't have a reaction when my old boss, who fired me prematurely, then fired my successor after 23 games, during which he won as many games as I and Mike Vrabel have won here in New England. I texted him. I wished him well. Nothing big about this week. No big deal. One of the most competitive people you will meet was obviously lying to us. Yeah, he's going down. He wants to rub the Titans' faces in Amy Strung's mistake by firing him. This is a big week down there. So it just conjures the thoughts of a little bit of revenge.
Yes, I would say that like many women, I had a series of bad college boyfriends. And I always found that the best revenge is happiness. I know that's a cliche, but it's not like, hey, I'm just completely cutting off at some point and then maybe returning in a magnanimous. What was that word? Magnanimous that you were doing. Yeah, that's a tough one. Fashion and saying, well, I'll never go out with you again, but look how well I'm doing. And I kind of think that's exactly what Mike Vrabel intends to do when he goes down there on Sunday.
This is the same guy who, you remember the game in 2018, which somehow comes up more on this podcast than Super Bowls, when the Patriots go down there, Titans just wipe the floor with them. And they have that pass to Brady where he injures his MCL, trying to catch the pass, falls 1 yard short. Patriots turn it over on downs. This is the fourth quarter. They're down by 17. The very next play the Titans call is, oh, you want to throw it to your quarterback? This is how it should actually look. And it's 21 yards to Marcus Mariota, just because Mike Vrabel could. And let me be clear. I enjoy the pettiness. I would love to see a little bit more vindictiveness with my Sundays, a little bit of spice which I've been calling for with the Pats-Jets rivalry. But I will settle for this appetizer until the Jets win a freaking football game. Because this is spicy. This is what this game is about, no?
Right, but I think we're talking about two different things.
Oh.
Where do you think that Mike Vrabel will show out on the field through his players, through the game plan, and through the play calling, Josh McDaniels or Zach Core on the other side, or however much Mike Vrabel wants to involve himself on the defense, play by play? Yes, I think so. But I think that you are a fool if you think that he's ever going to get up to the podium and say something to the effect of that. He's going to show you football wise for sure. He's going to show you how better off he is and what a better place he's at with New England and with his locker room compared to, as you said, the dumpster fire with Tennessee. He's never going to say it.
Yeah, of course. He's too smart for that. And he's a very smart guy. You can be a little caustic, but he's clever, he's calculated, and he's got to be dying for this one. There was one other thought I had. Oh, the other part about this is he's not one as a head coach, and I think this is a great trait to not bring attention to yourself at the expense of your players, right? Like they win the games, they're on the field. He knows this because he did that. And if you remember the locker room video after they beat the Dolphins in Miami, and he's like starting to give a speech and everyone's hyped up and it was a close win, first win in Miami since like pre-pandemic, I think. Robert Kraft like just kind of saddles on over, taps him on the shoulder, goes, no, I'm calling an audible. Everyone's favorite, just like token football joke. And then draws attention to Mike. Vrabel's just staring at the ground for the next minute the Kraft is speaking, which I think is exactly what's going to happen on Sunday. And when he hands the ball to him, it's not going to be because Vrabel managed the clock well against Tennessee. It's because of what we all know and what we just discussed.
Well, in turn, that also, if that was specifically, you're predicting that that's Robert Kraft again, that serves him to make himself look good, right? I mean, I don't want to be too cynical here, but that would be him saying, these fools down here were idiotic enough to let you go. And now I got to scoop you up. Now, it would have been more impactful if it was a year earlier. But hey, they got here and they're sitting at 4-2, seeing a 1-5 Tennessee team. So they have to like where they are right now.
So Tennessee has an interim head coach, a coach that I think I said this in my last episode, forgot was in the league. He did not have a coordinator title. It's Mike McCoy, who was the head coach of the Chargers and the Broncos offensive coordinator, and then went back to Denver in the same capacity. And there's an element of like surprise here because you don't know how Mike McCoy is going to act. And his special teams coordinator is John Bones Fossil. And this dude runs more fakes than anything than anyone really does.
Coolest nickname in the world, Bones.
It's just one that, yeah.
You disagree? You don't like that nickname?
I just think it's a little worn. You know what I mean? Like the cracks are showing, like it doesn't have the same kind of edges to it. You know, like he's just Bones.
Fossil.
It's like the reruns that I see on TV as opposed to like actually finding Bones. And my reaction to that nickname.
I can't believe I just think it's the best nickname that I've ever heard in the NFL.
Okay. Well, I bring all this up is to say, like, the revenge piece aside, that unknown with the Titans, as bad as they are, might be the most interesting thing about this game. But I ask you the question, what is the most interesting thing either about the Patriots or this game to you on Sunday?
So I don't know if it's the most interesting. I think the most compelling thing here is that this is another example, and you've had at least 1 to 2 of them so far this season, of you having the opportunity to show what a serious franchise you are in the face of a very unserious one. And I really think this is what that's about. Of course, you have the fun, salacious side with Mike Vrabel having been fired from there. But I think that plays into it, right? Like you have the right coach, you have the right quarterback. It makes your ownership group or your ownership family look very, very good. And so I think for the last several years, it certainly has not looked that way. And so when you took care of business in Carolina, like you completely made a statement there even before you knocked off the Bills in Sunday Night Football. Last week, you played, I think, a really strong half of football. It's kind of like how you got to used to match your SAT scores. Like your verbal was really good in the first half and your math was really good in the second half. And neither two shall meet in one half together, but you pulled it off. I think that's what this is about. And I have still some real concerns about this team, even though they are 4-2, even though your quarterback does look excellent and it does look like you have the pieces for the future in place. It's once again just about declaring yourself as a team that's in a completely different tier than the one that you're facing. Like you have to, because you're so early, you have to continue making that statement week after week after week so that they're not just mentioning you because of Sunday Night Football, but because you keep, at the risk of sounding like a cliche, keep stacking those wins because that's the only way that you build a real reputation for yourself.
No, it's true. I mean, I've said this before, but it bears repeating as we get deeper into the schedule. And inevitably, someone somewhere will make the talking point, maybe on your station or elsewhere, of like, well, do we really know they've been beating Carolina and they beat New Orleans and they went on the road to beat Tennessee and the Browns came in and blah, blah, blah. And I would say, yeah, because the mark of good teams is not what you do in the one score coin flip, bounce of the football if it's a forced fumble against other good teams. Granted, those are really important. But like the good teams historically beat up on the bad ones. That's when you know, as you just said, you're in another tier. And dovetailing that, which is the most, the revenge piece is the most what this game is about. Like that's the most interesting thing. But when you just isolate the Patriots, I'm writing about this for Saturday Online, Sunday in print. If you somehow, for whatever reason, 2025, pick up a newspaper.
Ah, I love the newspaper.
I know I do too. But
my husband reads it on planes, which makes him look like he's, 75 years old.
That's
Takes up a lot of space too.
Favorite image in a long time. Just the vest. Yeah, everything. Glasses down. The Patriots know they're onto something, or they believe it. And this doesn't mean that they're right. It doesn't mean that I even believe that they are, though I do believe it. But Drake Maye said something Wednesday that kind of tipped me off, and I asked around the locker room today, and a bunch of guys confirmed it. Here was his quote, looking ahead to this game and beyond. Keep going, ignore the noise, and know that if we keep playing like this, we'll have a real shot once the playoffs come. But that's a long ways away, so just attack it 1 week at a time. The most important words there are have a real shot once the playoffs come. Not have a real shot to make the playoffs. That is, the playoffs are going to come. It's just a matter of what kind of team are we, which they believe 6 games in, thanks to a tough win in Miami. Say what you will about the dumpster fire Dolphins, the win at Buffalo, and then being pissed because if you look at the locker room video in New Orleans, Mike Vrabel's being like, hey, you got to enjoy these. Like, we're going to go home. I want you to enjoy it. You got to enjoy wins in the NFL. I'm like, what is that about? They were upset they didn't play that well against the Saints.
Yeah, I saw that video and I thought, tremendous self-awareness in this locker room. Because I thought
it didn't make sense. Half, it was like, is it just him beating them down? Like they think they're already on to bigger things? Well, anyway, the answer is yes. And this is faster than I think anyone could have expected. No, like as much as these are, largely alpha men in that locker room, and there's an element of you have to live and sustain on your own belief until you become into whatever you believe you are. Like 6 weeks in, no one's anointed, but we can all kind of see it, right?
I see most of it. And again, I think the most important parts of any NFL franchise are, do you have the coach and the quarterback in place? And obviously you can see at the very, very highest heights what that will get you because you saw it for 20 years here in New England. My only concern is that right now it feels like the quarterback is everything. And I think that it's easy to get very wrapped up in that. And it makes it matters less when it's a quarterback in his 4th or 5th year and he's already been through so much and accomplished so much. But with Drake, he is doing everything at such an excellently high level, like so incredibly well, especially over this 3-game win streak, that I go, what happens if Drake has an off day, which he should be allowed to because he's a second-year quarterback. And how long did we talk about? He hasn't even started 17 games yet, and for how young he is, what happens? I think what happens in that case is the Raiders game. And I think that's what we saw. And I think it's unfair not to be like Mama Bear over here, but to expect that he's going to play at the level that he's playing at for every game of his second season as the starting quarterback, as an NFL quarterback. I'm just ringing the alarm on the run game because I think we're not talking about it enough and what a huge issue it is for this team.
Yeah, because it hasn't cost them yet, right? Like we all saw the first downs that just, you might as well have taken a knee in New Orleans. Those last 5 first down calls were all runs. They gained 1 combined yard and the Saints couldn't make them pay for it. But also, to your point, like Drake creates with Kayshon Boutte, 3rd and 11, back shoulder, complete, stays in bounds, and then you actually nail the clock out. All right, let's do Patriots offense versus the Titans defense. But first, introducing Tennessee. So in case anyone has avoided Tennessee football, it could mean college or pro, but both is probably a good idea. For the sake of your own mental health, this is what they've been up to, the Titans. They are 1-5. They are 31st in the league, meaning second worst by DVOA, 32nd in offense, 24th on defense, 13th on special teams. Good for Bones. Their last 4 games, they lost 20-10 at Las Vegas last week. They had a 22-21 win at Arizona, thanks to the stupidest play you and I have seen in recent NFL history. They lost before that, though, 26-0 at Houston, and at home 41-20 to the suddenly good, I think they might actually be good, Colts. They have a rookie quarterback. They have an interim head coach. They're rebuilding. We've covered all this. Patriots, meanwhile, 19th in DVOA because they're 11th in offense, 29th on defense. Went down after the Saints game, and 11th on special teams. So you mentioned the run game. Is that, we look at this, again, the Patriots are 4th passing and they're worst rushing, so it comes out to 11th by DVOA. Is just that lack of a run game the biggest issue, or do you see any other problems for them here on Sunday?
That is without a doubt the biggest issue. And I implore you to explain to me where the solutions are for this run game, because I feel like I've been ripping my hair out, talking to Ramondre, talking to Travion, trying to figure out why it is that there isn't a week that they seem to be able to break out of it. And it's easy to look at this matchup and say, well, Tennessee stinks at a lot of things and they're in total disarray. They got rid of their coach and in turn got rid of their offensive line coach because it's your old coach's dad. And there's going to be a lot of opportunity defensively to show out a little bit. But in terms of the run game, like, I think it's just too many things that are contributing to the issues. And I think there are some things that are a little easier to see. Like Ramondre Stevenson seems absolutely terrified of fumbling and is struggling to get through the contact that we know that he can get through because he is so afraid of fumbling. And I think that's totally understandable because look what has happened to him through his career. But at the same time, you're totally unable to put up any chunk plays in the ground game. And I think what's scary to me is I don't see any like singular solution. There's no savior. Nobody is just going to elevate and figure it out. And I don't know what the fix is.
So there is no one fix, because anytime you're down this bad, and I don't care if you're running the ball, passing the ball, playing basketball, or like on a dating rut, there's not like one thing that's going wrong. Like you need to figure a couple of things out. And so for the Patriots, I understand that sounds like a cop-out and a bad answer, but they would tell you the same thing and they're not lying, because sometimes they're not holding the blocks long enough at the point of attack. If you're getting blown up, well, it doesn't matter what happens next. You just lost the play. Sometimes it's not getting to the second level. Sometimes it's Travion Henderson being super impatient and leaving yards in the field by next-gen stats, the eye test, whatever it is. And then Ramondre Stevenson not breaking tackles because he's got both arms and a leg.
He's hugging that like it's a baby in a hurricane. Like, yes. He is so, and I get it. Like, we don't want him to fumble. That's much worse. But now it's really hurt him in another way.
So here are the couple of solutions, one of which is boring, but it's the truest answer. It's just time and reps, and specifically with Will Campbell and Jared Wilson, because there's a skill set there that they can work with, but they just need them to develop faster, because that will not only develop cohesion, but just their understanding of what to do and where to be over and over again. Where you see Jared Wilson, as I tweeted earlier this week, lining up further off the line of scrimmage in a way that gave away the play they were running at the goal line. It's a very small fixable thing, but nothing you would expect except from a rookie. So the more reps you get, the stuff like that gets smoothed out, in addition to, the timing of your double teams on duo or whatever you want to run, any number of different zone plays. So they need to grow in order for the rest of the offensive line to develop. The other part is I think you could probably involve Maye in a little bit more of the run game. The problem is twofold. Number one, you don't want to risk his health just to get like Ramondre Stevenson an extra 2 yards. Number two is the play calling. Like, they only called 2 designed runs out of 26 shotgun snaps last weekend. That's on Josh McDaniels. I don't expect it to happen again. But when you're reading a defender, you don't have to block him. That's the beauty of those option runs. But you need to get better at those. And I don't know if they've had enough reps there to say, okay, we're good at them and they'll be effective, and it's worth the risk potentially to our quarterback, if that makes sense. So there's a balance there of like involving Drake more and some more diversity in the run game, as well as it's just going to be on Will and Jared Wilson to grow up.
And I think that's an interesting wrinkle to when we went into the season thinking about having not just Jared and Will on that blind side, but having Travion. You're hoping, like, because of what you saw in the preseason, that he's going to be somebody who's going to be able to give you some explosive playmaking. But these guys are all so freaking young, like so freaking young. And so maybe I'm asking too much from the run game, but I just feel that going into week 7, for them not to have one performance, because I can't really take it. One performance where they overall look really strong as a running back room, because Ramondre running against the Dolphins, like, that's just, it was good, but it's not replicable, Like, that's
He's got
not the
like
kind
two
of
of those
thing.
this season right now. Like,
Yeah, it's not the kind of thing that you can look at and say there's your roadmap. And so for me, it's almost more troubling when you break it down and you say, well, it's not like there's one thing that's blown it up for them. There's 6 or 7 different little things, and a lot of it comes through NFL experience. It's like, okay, so do you figure that out by week 13, 14? Or is this something that you punt till next season? Because I think that really changes whether you're talking about getting into the playoffs or when you're in when the playoffs come.
I'll give you one other point too, because there's the run game as it fits within the offense, and that can change week to week, right? But when it fits into the game plan, it needs to be marrying whatever your run actions are with the play action piece. And because
Mhm.
play action has been such an effective weapon for them, again, going up and up and up with how often Josh McDaniels was calling it from week 2 all up the way up until last Sunday, those runs often when they're bootlegging Drake Maye, which are super effective for him, gets him on the move, he can scramble, he can throw, are often outside zone plays. And when they actually run the outside zone, as opposed to calling the play action, they're not very good at it. But you don't want to give up on it, because if you're only running the ball when you're pulling guards, well, the defense is going to figure it out.
Right.
And if the play action is all based off of, and they pulled guards with play action, like they complemented that well in New Orleans, it just didn't go anywhere. The point is, I think they're taking that into consideration of we will sacrifice some rushing efficiency if it means we get a little bit more of a chance to get an explosive with the same action when we fake it and then call the play action. And ultimately, they need to find out what they're good at, because every team, even the best Patriots ones, they were like, oh, we morph week to week. We don't have an identity. Our identity is no identity. You're good at some stuff and you're not good at others. And they're still figuring that out. And I think schematically, it's going to lean more towards the man blocked, gap schemes, all that stuff.
I do feel with this particular matchup, though, that, like, come on. I think the Patriots should eat. Like, I don't think that I can't sit here and say they're gonna have a breakout running game, because even against a, like, 25th ranked defense in the run game or whatever the Titans are exactly this week, I'm not confident enough that they're figuring out as much of what you're talking about. But the pass game should be good. Again, Drake should be good. Again, you should have all the elements there to be able to put up more than 24 points on this team. And for a long time in New England, that was over the last several years, that was definitely not a given. So I still think that you have a major edge over their defense. Whether you agree with Josh McDaniels today, who told us that Jeffrey Simmons is one of the best players in the entire NFL or not.
I kind of do. I think
I
he's unbelievable.
I still think that I still think you should certainly have the edge. And now it's fun because the offense has been successful enough through the passing game where people are looking around and being like, well, can we get something for Kyle Williams? What about Kyle Williams? Like, can Kyle Williams have more receptions? It's not in a way where it's like, damn it, we need Kyle Williams to show up on Sundays. It's like, well, Kayshawn's already had a big day. He gets another big day. What about Kyle Williams?
This was last year, right? Like, damn it, we need Jalen Polk to show up, this rookie. And if he's not showing up, well, our offense goes in the toilet. Kyle Williams doesn't show up. That's okay. Hey, you got next week, Kyle. It's gonna be fine. But I want to stay on Jeffrey Simmons for a second, just because, like, as good as he is, and he's a 3-time Pro Bowler, and he plays all the time, which you don't say of a lot of elite defensive tackles. He is still surrounded by and contributing to the 27th ranked run defense by DVOA in the league. So, like, if the Patriots cannot run against the Saints and they couldn't run against the Bills, you better be able to run against the Titans. How you work around this boulder in the middle that sometimes will be rolling downhill at you whenever he gets off his block and goes at Drake Maye is up to Josh McDaniels. That's why he's paid a lot more than me. But that really is the only area where you go, okay, this is a problem. Everything else, even L'Jarius Sneed, who I granted wanted them to trade for a couple of years ago or sign a free agency, No, it was a trade. He was a restricted free agent, I think. His numbers are down as corners go up and down. Amani Hooker is a guy that everyone has been picking on in coverage. And the Titans play a lot of cover 3 and they play some cover 4. And so there's a lot of zone there to be manipulated in the same way the Patriots did last week. Maybe not with play action, but if you just solve Simmons, there's going to be time. He has half of their sacks. Like, that's it. Like, this to your point, like, they should be able to pick and choose where they want to go. The menu of how they eat on Sunday is very wide.
May I ask you something? I don't want it to be interpreted as you're answering for this person or crawling inside their brain. But I know probably there's a lot of Patriots fans or just NFL watchers at large that wonder this. And you've talked to this guy plenty. Do you think Stefon Diggs cares if he has a 1,000-yard season?
Yes.
Okay.
How much he cares, though, is probably the bigger question, right?
Because I still think that this is an offense that works best when Drake is spreading it out a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean Diggs, seemingly more and more Booty, Henry, and working in the running backs maybe a little bit in the passing game. And I think that's about has as much room as there is. And so I think it will naturally lend itself towards those kind of numbers for Diggs. But I just kind of go week by week and I go like, I wonder how this feels on Monday.
So the reason I say yes is because he said as much. So before anyone jumps down any throats, I do not have any negative judgment on a receiver who wants to get a lot of yards. That's ultimately what makes them the receivers who keep going out, and more often than not, don't see the football, but run those routes. What makes me say that, though, is on some of those plays where he does not get the ball, run blocking, allowing 2 run stuffs against the Saints. Earlier this year, missing and just giving up on being basically the pick route in a pick route combination for Ramondre Stevenson, which he fixed the next week against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he very notably did that the next week.
Yes, but there's things I just have my eye on because he's been vocal about it, and he knows he's the best receiver in that room by a wide margin. The good news for him is, and this is the last DVOA stat I'll have for you on this side of the ball. The Titans are the worst of the league against number 1 receivers. Granted, I said this last week against the Saints, and okay, Diggs should have had a lot more yards than he did, but he'll have plenty of opportunity to eat himself again this Sunday. Eat himself. That's not like he was a self-cannibal. He's not going to self-cannibalize. He's going to have plenty of opportunities to pick up yards and score touchdowns, which is what he wants more than anyone wants to see him eat himself. So, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious about that. I really enjoyed him in the locker room and enjoyed him on the field, but I just, I try to get an idea of where the expectations are at.
So all that considered, and the run game, and Diggs, and the DVOA, and L'Jarius Sneed, and Jeffrey Simmons, how do you think this goes? Patriots offense versus Titans defense on Sunday.
As I said, I think everybody eats. I think the run game continues to be a little bit disappointing or underwhelming for what we would expect. I know everybody watching Trevion Henderson in the preseason were like, this guy's going to just be the most explosive thing that we've seen on the Patriots since the Brady era. And I think that the learning curve is a lot steeper. We hear about it from him a lot in pass protection and picking that up and seeing what the defense is giving him. But I think all over the map, I think, and I don't want to single him out because we just talked about on the offensive line that there's a steep learning curve. Sometimes even just was seeing some of the stunts, the disguises that the defenses are throwing you. But at the same time, the passing game is just en fuego. It is so good right now. I think that the bigger challenge may actually come the following week when you see the Browns. As people look down the schedule and go WWWW, I think the Browns are a sneaky little bit of a trickier situation for you, but that's for next week's pod. For this, I think it's going to continue to be Drake Maye picking out his targets, probably a lot of Stefon Diggs, probably a lot of Kayshon Boutte again, and that's the path to success for them.
I like it. I think they start fast. I think you might even see some no huddle, some tempo here, because your best weapon against Jeffrey Simmons, who I just have to mention this because it was just so shocking and stupid in real time. The Patriots started Layden Robinson. I think it was his starting debut last year in Tennessee. Say, hey, here you go. Literal food to the wolves that live inside of Jeffrey Simmons. Here's this 4th-round rookie who stinks in pass protection. Their best weapon now is better than Leighton Robinson, but it's Garrett Bradbury and it's Michael Manu, and then Jared Wilson, who's going to have his hands full. I think if you tire him out, you go faster a little bit, and you trust yourself to use base plays, and maybe even if it's outside zone, but you boot the other way, that will start to neutralize him. In addition to some wham runs, or you want to double team him, or you want to chip him, or you want to draw, or whatever it might be. He's seen all that. But if you go a little up tempo, I think they'll start fast. I think the Titans will obviously slow things down, but I think the Patriots pull away late. There's no way they score less than 24 here, which is insane to say about a Patriots game.
I know.
Offensive football
how did we get here so quickly?
I know, it's so nice.
But the Tennessee really is a mess.
That leads me to, I don't know, some people definitely take these bits of advice because we've been so close, Meghan, to helping the folks on Prizepicks, which is a great supporter of the podcast. And this is how simple it is. Everyone else wants your attention and your dollars. Prizepicks is the easiest, it's the simplest, it's the best way to win money, real cash, watching sports. And I say this not because they just support the podcast, it's because I do it. Now, I don't do it for the NFL, but the Celtics are coming up. You can bet your ass I will be watching a Raptors game on a Tuesday and going, I don't really care about this. But I think Jaylen Brown's going to have a big game. Boom. I will go to Prizepicks, just like you can on Sunday, and you pick a player and you pick a stat. You can even change the number sometimes on the stat, and you go more than or less than, and boom, they go right into your lineup. You do that with 2 to 6 players. Again, you pick the player, you pick the stat from their giant board, and all of these games, basketball, football, everything, but especially with the NFL, you build that lineup of 2 to 6 players, more or less. That's how easy it is. And here's the best part for you. I've got some picks for you, some Prizepicks picks this week. Stefon Diggs, more than 50.5 receiving yards. They're going to feed him. Titans pass defense stinks, especially against number 1 receivers. There you go. Tony Pollard, more than 9.5 receiving yards. Patriots defense, not that good at defending the running backs through the air, but I think they'll get a big lead. Spoiler for my game pick at the end. And Cam Ward will just have to dump it off. So Tony Pollard, more than 9.5 receiving yards. Here's the third one. You can take 2, you can take all 3, whatever you want. Cam Ward, once this season, has had a pass longer than 33.5 yards. So I will take Cam Ward less than 33.5 yards on his longest completion against the Patriots. That's it. He's only done it once. So I don't think it's going to happen twice here on Sunday. That's it. Stefon Diggs, more than 50.5 receiving yards. Tony Pollard, more than 9.5 receiving yards. Cam Ward, longest completion, less than 33.5 yards. You can put all this to good use. If you download the Prizepicks app today, use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50, 50, in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prizepicks, it's good to be right. Do you think I'm going to be right? 1 for 3, 2 for 3, 3 for 3?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Okay.
I definitely wasn't spacing out and looking at my notes while you were doing that. Certainly not. I would never do that. I was intently listening. I was writing down your advice.
Good. What do your notes say for Titans offense versus Patriots defense?
My notes say that the Titans offense was already terrible, and now it looks like they're probably going to be without Calvin Ridley, which is crazy. Guy hasn't practiced twice this week. We're recording this on Thursday night. They were averaging less than 14 points per game, which is atrocious. They're basically they're dead last in overall offense. This offense is really, really bad, and they might be down their best receiver. So I think that this is maybe a little bit more of the coming out party that you want for the defense. They played really well against the Bills. Like, they held the Bills well below their points average to that point in the season. But I think when you want like big performances, multiple sacks, maybe an interception, maybe a pick six, all that flashy stuff, I think that's what you're going to see against this Titans offense, because they are that bad and it's a rookie quarterback. And once again, they're coming off of firing their coach. I don't think that's going to give them that much of a dead cat bounce. Like, it is what it is with this team. They're bad, and they're really bad on defense. Offense. On offense.
I mean, both are true. Their best player, though, is their right guard. And that's just a tough place to start if you want to win a football game. All due respect to all the right guards in the world who could absolutely pummel my ass. And Kevin Zeitler is one of them. But look, Cam Ward is playing statistically as the worst quarterback in the league. And you could find a different metric. And okay, he's only bottom 5, bottom 10. It's not good. 3 touchdowns, 4 picks. How about those for stats? He is a sack magnet. Pause. He's taken 25 this season, 189 yards lost on those sacks. That is the number one reason he's been so poor. And for a Patriots team that if they get the lead and know he's in an obvious passing situation, even if Harold Landry sits, Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, Keelan Chason, maybe they want to blitz because you're not afraid of Calvin Ridley, who's not on the field anymore, taking the top off their defense. There are very few ways for them to win. Now, there are some game plan wrinkles I think they could take from the Saints. Maybe a little second half of Buffalo, granted with much lesser personnel, and dink and dunk their way downfield and move the pocket and do these different things. But ultimately, I can't trust watching him, Cam Ward, to do that over time, even in the way Spencer Rattler did. And running the ball, Tony Pollard has not had a 100-yard game yet.
Mm-mm.
He can still break tackles, but like that's why I pick him as more than 9.5 receiving yards, because I just don't think they're going to run the ball against the top 10 rushing defense, which is what the Patriots have had all year.
I would say also, I need to throw a little credit to Patriots media relations because they put out this little piece of information that hadn't clocked with me yet, which is the Patriots are the only NFL defense that has not surrendered 50 yards or more to a single running back in a game this year. And so if you're looking at Tony Pollard and saying maybe he breaks through and has this humongous game this week, I don't think the Patriots are poised to be that run defense that gives that up. The run defense has been such a surprise. And you asked Zach Core about this, and I wanted a little bit more detail in his answer. I'll say it that way, rather than his answer was essentially like the passing defense. It just takes a little bit longer to get to know one another's tendencies and to be on the same page. But the run defense, well, those guys just kind of play their asses off. It's like, they just swarm the ball. And maybe that's not giving enough credit to the run defense. The run defense has been great. That stat puts them in line with the 2024 Baltimore Ravens. And the Ravens finished with the best run defense in the entire league. So I don't know if that's completely sustainable or how much that has to do with some of the teams you're facing. But look, you have faced Alvin Kamara. You have faced James Cook. So it's not like it's bums that they're sending out there to run down your throats.
No, it's not. It's interesting too, because the question was, hey, why does your pass defense stink? In better words, while your run defense has been very good.
What's the difference? What's the difference here between the pass defense and the run defense?
Yeah. And the thing is, it mirrors basically all of the defenses that Vrabel had in Tennessee. So I think there's some part of this that's just kind of baked into the system and the infrastructure and the way they teach this, because the personnel is obviously different from what they had. That lends itself to this. Now, the personnel that the Patriots have should be much better than 29th in the league by DVOA against the pass. And what he noted in his answer also was, we're pretty good when it's third and long or like third and medium. Like we're top of the league. Not just like, we're good when it gets there, because every defense is. It's within that context relative to everybody else. We're at the top of the league, which means where they struggle, and you can see this, is on early downs. And I think that also is where the Titans are going to want to attack over the middle. Like the Patriots numbers against play action are good. So that's a lever they can pull, but you can't just like, yank it like a broken slot machine over and over and over again.
I was thinking toilet. You jiggle the handle.
Like, I think they will have some wrinkles, and they've got this kind of effort, attitude or outlook if they want to take it with the interim head coach and everything we know that's going on. But there are just not enough avenues for the Titans to sustain offense, even against a defense that is coming together. And maybe just needs more team dinners based on the way he said, like, the guys are getting to know each other, which is also spacing and all this. But is there any player you think could really break out if you're the Patriots? Like defensively, hey, so-and-so is going to have 2 sacks. This guy will have a pick or a dozen tackles.
It's a good question. I think that we could see a little bit flashier Gonzalez. And I wonder, as I think about that answer from Zach Core, more if what he's saying in the passing game is that Gonzalez wasn't active for the first several weeks. And so getting to know each other in the passing game is also like having the consistent players out there in your secondary, figuring out that spacing together and their timing together and all of that. And so, don't get me wrong, Gonzalez had a great game against the Bills and had basically 2 shutdown coverage plays, one in the back of the end zone and then the one directly after that. So it's not like he hasn't had a big impact. But I think if you're talking about somebody who like flashes off the screen, that to me would be Gonzalez in this.
It's a good point. And I think the point about, guys staying true to their assignments and their landmarks, especially in zone coverage, like he was saying, like there's something to that. Like week 1, you just It's like first day of school. You're running to go hug all the people and the friends you haven't seen in so long. You go sit with them in the cafeteria. Like, all right, we're past that. You need to settle in. You have to do your work, fulfill your assignments. And there's a coaching piece to this too, where like Zach Core, I think he needs a couple more good games. You seem to dismiss my nickname after the press conference. He's the banquet coach as opposed to the banquet beer.
I don't drink beer, so I didn't understand what you were saying. You're like, he's the banquet coach. And I was like, why? Is he emceeing up there? What's going on? What is this? What is this nickname? You had to explain it to me, which is always the sign of a great joke or nickname.
So it sticks, is what you're saying. You're standing by it.
Well, the other thing is I think a lot of people have no idea how to pronounce his name, so maybe that could help, but it doesn't exactly lend itself to the nickname because they think his last name is Kerr.
Yeah, yeah. Which, to be honest, I did too a couple of times. I had to remind myself it's Core.
Core.
Not Coors, but the banquet coach. He's got to get better too. Like, this is a young staff outside of basically Mike Smith, their outside linebackers coach, who's been in the league for over 25 years, including when he played for the Ravens. Maybe it's 20 years, but either way, like, Vrabel has his hands here. He's got his hands everywhere. Despite that, in Tennessee, their defenses weren't that great. I think it still will be better. You mentioned Gonzalez, and I'm glad you did. He was a full participant. He's still listed on the injury report with a hamstring. I was there today, and as they're doing their opening drills, it's very casual. And this was the hint when he was limited on Thursday. We're like, uh-oh. He left. This wasn't today. This was last week, and then was away from the team. Today, he stayed for the initial drills, and then was on the other side with the trainer, like kind of stretching out, jogging, like just some kind of warm-up stuff. After the warm-ups were done, I'm like, I don't think healthy players do that. But he was a full participant. That's official. That's just something I got my eye on.
I think it's smart to keep your eye on him because there was so much concern last week when they had that strange example of what they said was a plan that Vrabel had with the training staff about having him down on the lower field and working away from the team and the early stretching portion and special teams portion. It's like, okay, well, why did the plan get enacted on a Thursday? It just, questions that we as the annoying media wonder about. I think it's probably better to be overly critical of his availability and what he's doing just because it is that soft tissue injury. He is such an important part of the defense. He's somebody who you are going to pay a ton of money to in the coming years. And he was out for 2 months. He was out for really the ceiling of what we talk about with that injury. And so I think it's worth having the critical eye with him.
Do you want to know what this game is going to come down to for the Patriots defense? Because I would
love to hear that.
Okay. Number one, as best they can, you have to eliminate Cam Ward's first read. Get any rookie quarterback, take all the low-hanging fruit off the tree, make him climb, make him work for it. It cannot be there if you want the slant or a bubble or whatever it might be. Just take it away. Number two is keep him in the pocket. Like, it's not keep him in the pocket. He's a danger if he gets out and scrambles. Again, he's taken 25 sacks in 6 games. This is what quarterbacks do. And sacks, 80% of the time, will kill drives. He will give you those if you just don't allow him to get out right away, either as a runner or as a passer with the first read. That's really the whole thing. I think it'll take a lot of luck. Again, Calvin Ridley's probably going to be out. Like, I just don't see how this side of the ball does anything more than tread water for a half or 3/4. It'll be what the Saints did, just devolves faster than like a Chris Olave drop or 2 in the second half.
Yeah, I like that. I think that roadmap makes sense. And I do think that there's some bigger themes around this. The Vrabel thing is real. The revenge game is real, as you started off with. I think it's ridiculous not to think that he doesn't have a different attention to detail, especially this week. He's somebody who his entire staff is very detail oriented, and we've heard about that. We've heard him talk about how he tries to plan for the officiating of that day and try to understand what they're going to be honing in on in terms of the officiating, and then is completely blindsided by apparently what happens. That's for another day. But at the same time, when you worry about, these guys are going to rally around an interim coach and a former assistant who didn't have a title, who they actually love and have a great relationship with, they don't have the talent to go with that theme. They don't have the talent to turn this into some Hulu show with Chad Powers or whatever the next thing is, it's just not happening.
2 Drake May picks. Another Ramondre Stevenson fumble. And this is not because I think the Patriots are suddenly a top 10 team in the league. I don't know if I would put them in the top 10 of the NFL right now. If they win, might be there Monday. I don't know.
No,
I
but
don't do
that's the
power
point.
rankings.
They're not a bottom 10 team.
Right. But it would take, again, luck for them, something we have not seen really from Maye yet. I think even that Raiders game, they could get by and beat the Titans here Sunday because offensively, Tennessee is just kind of drawing dead. And look, Cam Ward was better. He was 26 to 38 in Vegas, 222 yards and a pick. Like, it's not shabby on the rookie scale, but he's now dueling with definitively a top 10 quarterback in May. So Cam Ward is just not ready for that. Anything else we didn't hit on? You think that'll be relevant on Sunday?
Not particularly. I mean, I'm very jealous. Do you have a particular spot that you're going to in Nashville that you can shout out?
I am not going because we are too
Oh.
close to the due date here. So I did
Oh,
not go to New
that's
Orleans.
right. Okay. Well,
This
if
is-
you were going, a particular spot.
oh boy. I
What?
feel like this is how a lot of stories in Nashville start. You go, I don't really remember the name of it, which is to say you had a lot out when you were there. But I'll tell you this. The first time I went for work, Patriots had joint practices in 2019. And it wasn't when Brady sold his house, but they go down there and it's competitive and there are fights and obviously a Vrabel coach team. It was the same week that Josh Gordon got reinstated by the NFL after being suspended the previous December and doesn't go to the Super Bowl. And we had come from practice. We're all set. I put my bag away. First beer's down. News breaks. Oh, God. I wrote a whole column from my phone, and I did it probably faster than I've written any column, and it was good. Like, I kid you not. So whatever that roof was, and I want to say it was a red something. It was on Broadway. If you're facing away from the stadium, it was on the right side. We had a great time. Jeff Howe was there. Mark was there. Mason might have been there. I don't know. But I wrote, it was like 600 words, filed it, and was like, I can't believe I did that. So that bar by default, maybe not for the ambiance and the music or the drinks, just that memory alone. I was like, good for me.
That's beautiful. I'm glad we got to hear that story.
It's fun.
That's a nice memory from Nashville. I thought it was going to be something like about a honky tonk bar where you and a bunch of other beat writers were line dancing and taking shots off each other's bellies or something. But instead, we got a story about how you filed a column from your phone.
How about this? This is, it's not of like the typical Nashville story, but there's a bachelor party I organized for obviously guy I was the best man at his wedding. Actually, the officiant first time because it was a pandemic thing. Anyway, we went to a speakeasy, which had they call it the red phone booth. A lot of red stuff I'm like attracted to in Nashville. And you walk in and the back door is the entrance to, this building. The red phone booth is right up against the building and you go through this door. They didn't have a reservation at first, so we just kind of had to hang out. But it was one of these speakeasies that has like open cigar smoke. Their menu for cigars is as long as it is for bourbon and beer or whatever else.
May I say, as a woman, ew, it smells terrible.
I had the best time as like the low bar of bourbon expert at the time. You get this, try that, have this cigar, whatever. I don't know anything about cigars. What I do know is though, after having 2 cigars, the next morning, I thought I had been food poisoned. So I missed like the entire next day of just my body revolting against everything that had been taken in, which is a long way of saying I'm soft. But it was, I had a cigar since. It was just so much. It was too much. It was too much. And I had no idea what was happening to me, but it was the worst thing in the world at the time. And then we survived. And then I think the next night was the mechanical bull night. And then that story will go untold. But
okay. We'll get that off air. I'll
Yeah.
share it with everyone on my own, I
Yeah,
don't know,
WEEI.
Instagram live channel or something.
Oh, good. Yeah. All right, make a pick.
I'm obviously going with Patriots. If you've been listening to me on any part of this podcast, I think that the Patriots offense is going to be able to do a lot. And I would say, as I said before, well over 24 points. I would say maybe upwards to like 30 points. And I just don't think the Titans are going to do much offensively. I think they might have 10 points, and that might be garbage time towards the end.
Patriots 30, Titans 13. I could see the Titans scoring a little bit more. Again, maybe those wrinkles sustain them for a little bit, but they can't tread water in this game. And I'm really more curious to see what Vrabel does to kind of twist the knife a little bit, knowing that it's there, the potential. I don't know if it's a fake punt in the fourth quarter or if it's the throwing to the quarterback, whatever it is, there'll be a little something. And I'm genuinely very excited to see this.
Well, he's paired with the right guy for that, right? I mean, Josh McDaniels, he'll have a wide receiver throwing or something, like to your point, something that's a real FU. That's the guy that you want with riding with you as your offensive coordinator, your play caller. If you want an FU play, he's like, oh, I got like 7 of these dialed up. Just let me know. Just let me know. We've been working on them over on the side over here in practice. Let me know which one to hit.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be so good. It might even be Josh Dobbs. Like, hey, come on in. Hey, you used to play here. You got a little FU in you. This is called the bomb with the double fingers down the sideline as you are going into
Double
the end zone.
birds.
Yeah. Double birds. Go birds. All right. I think we've covered everything. This should otherwise be one of the more boring games on the schedule, but it is not because it is Revenge Week. I appreciate you taking the time. This is fun as always. And anything you want to plug besides being on WEEI and WEEI.com?
No, I mean, you can just find all my work there. I write a couple times a week. I guess I'll plug our Sunday football show, which goes from 10 to 1. So I'm on there every Sunday, WEEI. If you want to give us a listen, preview mostly the Pats game, get into the rest of the league as well.
Cool. Thank you, friend.
Anytime.
We're making podcast history today. This is the first 3-time guest on the 4-minute drill, Pop Douglas, who crushed the first one 2 training camps ago, that won midseason. And we're not quite running out of questions for you, but we really went deep into the bag of trips here today. You ready?
Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Start the clock with our 4-minute drill with Pop Douglas coming off a big game in New Orleans. Here we go. How many people slid into your DMs after that big game on Sunday?
I can't even tell you. It was just going, so I'd be ignoring it. It'd be too many.
Left them all unread?
Nah, I clicked some of them. Like, some of them be like from family, like mentioned by, so I click some of them, tell them thank you, I appreciate you, stuff like that.
Cool. We've heard Mike Vrabel likes to give pop quizzes, just calling guys, asking questions in meetings. What questions have you asked and how did it go? Been asked.
Just the questions about what my responsibilities, and that'll make you sweat sometimes.
Did you pass?
Yeah, I passed.
Okay, cool. You are stranded on a desert island. You get one teammate to be with you, and I'm not looking for your best friend, but like the guy who's gonna best hunt, scavenge, survive, like be a roommate. Who are you picking?
Schooler.
Why?
Just, I don't know, it's somebody long hair. I think he ready for the for the wild, for the wilderness. I think he's ready.
He's like already auditioning for Castaway, the sequel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Flip side. What's the last teammate you want there? He's gonna be no help.
Okay, I can say probably Marcus Jones.
Really?
Yeah, we can't have 2 short people. It's not gonna scare nobody away. So we need like somebody who probably big, and you feel me? No 2 short people. We can't do it.
Wow, dirty to the captain. When you're in an Uber, are you quiet? Are you chatty? Like, how do you experience the ride?
Nah, I'm quiet. Just in case somebody might notice me, and then we're gonna be talking the whole ride. So I'm quiet.
You ever lie in an Uber, like make up what you do for a living?
Nah, yeah. So I tell them a different name, because my Uber name is different. So I tell them my name, and they'll be looking through the top of the mirror, just keep looking at me like, this not this guy. This who I think it is, and I'll be like, yeah, you got me.
Give us the Uber alias. What is it? Is it a good one?
Yeah, my name Leonard.
It's just Leonard. He's like Cher, but he's just one name Leonard, the Uber rider.
My name Leonard.
You don't look like a Leonard whatsoever. We're gonna find a new one for you. All right, take us through all your responsibilities, like a mental checklist on a complicated play. It doesn't matter what the play is. You don't have to tell us the name, but like all the things you have to look for and do before the play and then through to the end.
I got to look at the safeties, look at the coverage, see if I can get the pre-snap read, and then it could change on the post-snap read. So definitely look at the safety. Safety's going to tell me a lot, and then the corners and whoever's playing over me, the nickel or the star.
What's your best pickup line?
I don't know. I just smile. I smile and it works.
Barmore does that too, and he says it works.
Yeah, it does. It works. You got to do the smile. You smile, and she smiled back. You won.
You say, I'm Leonard?
Yeah, I'm Leonard. How you doing?
Who had the best rookie skit this summer? Do you remember?
Probably Webb, Jeremiah Webb, just his delivery. He's just a funny guy. So
What'd he do?
I cannot remember. But I remember he had us, the whole room laughing. So that's definitely have to be the top.
So the Celtics coaches just played their media in a pickup game. Let's say we're doing the same here with the Patriots. But you're our OC. What's our game plan to attack your coaches in a game of flag outside on the field?
Oh, I don't know. Cause Vrabel's big. He probably gonna be the 5. So do y'all got a 5 in y'all?
Yeah, of course.
Y'all got a 5?
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about like the center.
Yeah.
Y'all got center? Okay,
Yeah.
then if y'all got
Well, we're playing 7, so we can like pick on someone else in coverage. Like, what's the plan? Who we going after?
Oh man. Okay, you saying okay? Oh, we playing 7-on-7
Yeah, yeah.
football
Yeah. Flag.
Oh
yeah.
man, I don't know. Our guys kind of, I play.
Come on, Josh is not that quick.
Oh.
I don't want to get you in trouble, but like, I think I know where I'm going.
Yeah, I see where you're going, but I mean, we got some guys who used to play now, so I don't know. It's gonna be a little hard, but just don't let them take y'all deep.
Okay.
Let it short. Everything short.
Okay. We got 2 more. One of which, because we're over the 4-minute limit now. Can we add like a little twist in the celebration? Like people who watch this, next time you score a touchdown, will go, I saw that. That was for us. Like you can pick the wrinkle, but we add something here just for the listeners who've been watching now, our 3rd time guest on the 4-minute drill.
Yeah. What should we add though?
I was like a baby rocking.
We could do that.
Baby rocking.
We can
Just
rock
take the
baby.
ball.
Yeah, we'll rock the baby. I can do that. I can do that. I can rock the baby in the end zone.
Next time Pop Douglas scores a touchdown, that is for you listening to this podcast. Last one. Who should we interview next and why?
I think y'all should interview Terrell Jennings. Just because of his path and his process. I mean, I've seen it in person, but not everybody's seen it. It's very interesting.
All right. I like it. Appreciate you. Pop Douglas never fails.